Today I'm going to discuss the origin of Thanos and who the Eternals are and how they came to be. Thanos was born on Titan, which is a moon of Saturn, of which there are 62 moons. As the Red Skull tells us in Infinity War on Vormir, he is Thanos, son of Alos. Alos was one of the first colonists of the Eternals on the moon of Titan, and he was one of the last survivors of the first Eternal colony on our moon. Thanos' mother was named Susan. Now, all Eternals are not purple like Thanos. They look more human, as they themselves are an offshoot of humanity and were created by experimentation on humanity by the Celestials millions of years ago. Celestials are a race of beings we have seen glimpsed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Shown here wielding the Power Stone by the Collector, Ego, Peter Quill's father, was of course a Celestial, and the space station Nowhere was a hollowed out head of a Celestial. The Celestials first appeared in Eternals #1 in July 1976. In the beginning there was only one universe, the first firmament. Although perfect, it was alone, and it decided to create life. So the first life that was created were the Celestials, or the Celestial Servants as they were known. There are essentially two groups of Celestials, the Aspirants and the multicolored rebels. They had a massive war known as the Celestial War. This war was basically to see who would rule over existence. The war took a toll on both groups, leaving only a few Celestials in the universe. And when the war ended, the first firmament, the first universe, was shattered into pieces, giving rise to hundreds of new universes. In other words, the first multiverse. So as you can see, the Celestials are always seen wearing armor, and in fact no one has actually seen a Celestial without armor. And there is a theory that the Celestials only exist in hyperspace, and that their armors are simply channels which allow them to interact in our reality. So anyway, the Celestials experimented on humans millions of years ago, and this gave rise to two races, the Eternals and the Deviants. The Deviants were created by a Celestial known as Zoran the Tester, and the Eternals were created by Nazar the Calculator, this blue fellow over here. Oneg the Prober, no jokes, also experimented on some humans, but instead of changing their gene structure immediately, he gave them a latent gene, whose function would not be known for untold millennia. Of course, we now know that that third experiment gave us Interestingly, this information was revealed at the back of one of Marvel's What If comics as some additional information. The issue also featured what if Aunt May was bitten by the radioactive spider instead of Peter? Well, I'll tell you what she would do. She would sew her own costume, turn her pastry decorator into a weapon, and take down the evil leapfrog. All in a day's work for Spider Auntie. So Thanos, although born to eternal parents, Alars, aka Mentor, and Susan, was born with Deviant syndrome, which is a genetic mutation which gives him his purple skin and his interesting chin, and it also makes him the strongest and most powerful Eternal in history. At his birth, his mother, Susan, recognized death in his eyes, and she actually wanted to kill him right there and then, but his father saved him. He didn't have many friends at first and spent most of his time alone, drawing pictures of dead things, although he was known by the rest of his peers to be the smartest kid in school. As he grew older, he became more deranged, and even kidnapped his own mother when he remembers that she wanted to kill him at his birth. But funnily enough, the first time he saw blood, he actually vomited when he was dissecting a lizard for school. However, he becomes obsessed with death and dissection and murder, all those kind of things. His first murder was when he picked up a random couple and just murdered them, and no one had ever even thought of murder on Titan before Thanos pretty much invented it there. In fact, he shockingly murders his own mother in an attempt to understand why he is a monster, rationalizing that this act will cut the monster out. It's pretty sick. And it was on that day that Thanos murdered his mother that he disappeared from Titan and started to live on the outer rim of the galaxy, pretty much just being a pirate, murderer, and overall scumbag. I'll spare you some of the details. But all this time, even as a boy, he had been conversing with this girl that he thought was from school, who encouraged him at first to kill. And then it turns out that this girl, now a woman, was actually Lady Death, who had been influencing him all along. And he has this Gaius Baltar from Battlestar Galactica moment when he realizes that only he can see Lady Death. Thanos at first is pretty freaked out, but he says something to the effect of, "Will you love me no matter how much I kill?" And she says yes, and then it's love. And the first thing he does is go back to Titan, that beautiful colony of Eternals, and launches a massive attack. His father Alars doesn't even have to think who is attacking once the attack starts. He just knows that his son Thanos has returned. After killing everybody, he comes face to face with the last surviving citizen on Titan, his own father Alars. who had fashioned a special weapon designed to kill Thanos. But Alars, the mentor of Titan, being a good man, cannot bring himself to kill Thanos, his son. So what does Thanos do? Takes the gun from Alars' hand, shoots himself in the head, and says, "You should have made a better gun." So that's pretty much the origin of Thanos. And as you can see, he's an even more insane character in the comics. And I think we're definitely going to have a lot more of Thanos' backstory revealed with regards to his origins in the upcoming Eternals movie. I personally would love to see some flashbacks of his early life, and it would be incredible if they introduced the character Lady Death into the MCU, as the one pulling Thanos' strings from the shadows, as it were. But it's incredible to think that Thanos started out as an Eternal, and that Thanos is by far the strongest and most powerful Eternal because of his mutation due to the Deviant gene. Thanos has superhuman intelligence and ancient knowledge of the arcane. How did he come to know of the Infinity Stones? How did he know to fashion the Infinity Gauntlet? As with all Eternals, Thanos is immortal, immune to all diseases, and doesn't age. So how old is Thanos? Well, we know Thor is 1500 years old. Is Thanos older? Well, the answer is no. Thor is older than Thanos, but we're just not sure by how much. But the best estimates that could be derived from the comics is at around 500 years old. Oh, and Thanos' real name? The one his mother actually gave him? Dion. Yep, Dion. Friggin' Dion. Can you believe it? No wonder Doctor Strange says you look more like a Thanos. You really do look more like a Thanos. You're not a Dion. Do you think the movies are going to flash back to Titan and show Thanos as a baby? And are you excited about the Eternals movie? Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and then share it. And please subscribe to the channel and enable notifications to make sure that you don't miss out on any crafty media content. Thanks a lot for watching. Cheers for now.